On Sunday the 11th of August in 2024, a 13-year-old schoolgirl named Janiyah McMichael left her home in Gary, Indiana to buy some snacks from her local store, but to her family's horror, she would never be seen again. Initially, many believed she had just run away, but as the days turned into weeks, it became clear that something far more sinister was at play. So her family, heartbroken and desperate for answers, began searching relentlessly for their loved one, but with every step, the mystery only seemed to deepen. Conflicting stories and rampant misinformation then started to spread online, leading authorities to eventually issue a silver alert indicating that there was a strong possibility that Janiyah may have been kidnapped. Images then began to circulate of two suspicious-looking men that were seen in her neighbourhood around the same time she left, sparking theories that they could have been the culprits. However, after months of intense searching and investigation, no suspects have been charged with her disappearance, and Janiyah still remains missing to this day, understandably leading her family to wonder what really happened to Janiyah McMichael, and could she be Indiana's next victim of human trafficking? Janiyah McMichael Rogers was born in Gary, Indiana in 2011, growing up in a city known for its strong sense of community but also its fair share of struggles. Despite this, Janiyah was surrounded by a loving family, especially her mother, Jasmine McMichael, with whom she shared an incredibly close bond. Not too much is publicly known about her early childhood, but what we do know is that Janiyah was a bright and energetic girl with big dreams. She had a natural love for the arts, particularly fashion, and would spend hours sketching outfit designs, dreaming of one day becoming a designer. Those who knew her described her as kind, outgoing, and full of life, a young girl with so much potential ahead of her. Growing up, Janiyah attended school in Gary, where she was well liked by her teachers and classmates. She was the type of person who could light up a room with her energy, always making people laugh and bringing joy to those around her. She loved expressing herself through creative outlets like drawing and dancing, often performing for her family at gatherings. But like many kids in her community, Janiyah faced challenges. Gary, Indiana has long struggled with crime and economic hardships, and young people growing up there often have to navigate through tough environments. Despite this, however, Janiyah's family worked hard to keep her on the right path, ensuring that she had the love and support she needed to chase her dreams. So in the summer of 2024, Janiyah was preparing for one of the biggest transitions of her young life, as she would soon be starting high school. She was excited about the new opportunities ahead of her, especially the chance to join an art club and meet others who shared her love for design. However, just weeks before school was set to begin, everything would suddenly change, when on that fateful day in August, Janiyah McMichael would mysteriously vanish, never to be seen again. On Sunday the 11th of August, the 13-year-old was last seen near her home on the 1900 block of Malcolm X Drive, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, black pyjamas, and black and red shoes. At first, it seemed to have been just another typical summer evening, as she decided to leave the house to buy some snacks from her local store, a common practice for the young teenager. But as the hours passed by, with Janiyah failing to return home, concern began to set in. At first, her family assumed she might have been out with some friends or visiting a relative, something she had done before, but with every hour that went by, this initial concern continued to mount. By the following morning, family members started making calls, reaching out to her friends and checking places she was known to frequent, but strangely, no one had seen or heard from her since she left that day. So as the hours turned into days, the worry only deepened, and Janiyah's mother, Jasmine McMichael, was now desperate for answers. She searched through social media, hoping to find any sign of activity, any clue that might have indicated where Janiyah had gone, but there was nothing. Her phone had gone silent. Then came the rumours. Some claimed Janiyah had been spotted in a nearby neighbourhood within close proximity to a pair of strange men, while others suggested she may have left voluntarily. But with no solid leads and no confirmed sightings, her disappearance remained a mystery. By mid-August, her family could no longer hold out hope that she had simply run away, as it wasn't like Janiyah to just disappear without contacting someone first. So, after exhausting every possible avenue, Janiyah's family made the heartbreaking decision to officially report her missing to the local police. On Monday the 12th of August, the teenager was officially reported missing by her family after they had spent hours frantically searching for her, reaching out to friends, checking social media and even driving around Gary, Indiana, hoping to find any sign of their beloved daughter. But as time passed, with no word from Janiyah, panic well and truly set in. When they went to the Gary Police Department to file a missing person report, they expected immediate action. However, like so many other cases involving missing black children, the response from law enforcement was frustratingly slow. At first, authorities treated Janiyah's case as a possible runaway situation, an assumption that delayed the crucial early investigation efforts. Her family, however, insisted that Janiyah wouldn't have just left without telling anyone. She didn't have a history of running away, and there was no indication that she had planned to disappear. But despite their pleas, days passed, and the investigation remained stagnant. The police reportedly conducted a few interviews with Janiyah's close friends and family members, but no solid leads would emerge. Her phone remained off, her social media accounts were inactive, and there were no confirmed sightings of her in Gary or any surrounding areas. So, as the days turned into weeks, Janiyah's family became more vocal about their frustration with the lack of urgency in the investigation. At this point, they then started organising their own search parties, distributing flyers, contacting local media and pleading with the community to come forward with any information. But despite their best efforts, no one seemed to know what happened to Janiyah. However, nearly a month later, the police would finally make an announcement that would shake the local community to its core. On Thursday the 5th of September, almost 1 month after she was initially reported missing, the Indiana State Police finally issued a silver alert for Janiyah, which is typically reserved for missing persons who are considered to be in extreme danger or in need of medical attention. So with this massive update in the case, serious questions began to be raised, as if police initially believed she had run away, this meant that something had now changed. The silver alert suggested that law enforcement now feared Janiyah was in serious danger, but by that point nearly a month had passed. Precious time had been lost, time that could have been used to gather evidence, interview witnesses and track down leads before they went cold. But one silver lining to this escalation was that the public started paying more attention to Janiyah's disappearance. Community activists and local organisations began pushing for more action, questioning why it had taken so long for authorities to acknowledge the severity of her case. Then, in early October, nearly 2 months after she vanished, the Gary Police Department, alongside the FBI and the Department of Child Services, executed a court-approved search warrant at the last known residence where Janiyah had been staying. The details of what they found were never made public, but the very fact that a search warrant had been issued suggested that investigators had finally found a lead worth pursuing. By mid-November, the nationwide security firm USPA announced a $10,000 reward for information leading to Janiyah's whereabouts, which was meant to encourage people to come forward. However, no major breakthroughs were ever reported, meaning Janiyah's family were left with no choice but to continue their search by organising vigils and speaking out on social media in order to keep her case in the public eye. But despite the massive efforts of Janiyah's family, as well as multiple police departments, the explanations behind the teenager's disappearance have still not risen to the surface, meaning that to this day, Janiyah McMichael remains a missing person. Now unfortunately, as far as the official investigation goes, this is all we know for now. But thanks to the continued dedication of Janiyah's family, her case continues to stay active in the public eye, with YouTube channels and mainstream news stations posting updates to the case as new evidence comes to light. So with this in mind, we have to stay positive that it will only be a matter of time before the truth is revealed, providing Janiyah's family with the answers they deserve and maybe even leading them to reunite with their loved one against all odds. However, given that Janiyah McMichael has now been missing for over 7 months, despite the devoted efforts of everyone involved, I can't help but feel that the likelihood of her safe return is only growing weaker as time passes. So with that, let's get into some of the potential theories. Now, just before I get into the theories themselves, I just wanted to take a quick moment to acknowledge Janiyah's family who have worked so hard to keep her case in the spotlight. If you're watching this, then I sincerely hope I did her story justice, and please feel free to reach out if you would like me to report on any further evidence or updates to the story as it progresses. At this point in the video, I usually rattle off a few theories about what could have happened to the missing person in an attempt to bring more attention to the case, but I do understand that these theories can be distressing to hear, especially if you are close to the victim. So I will try my best to be as respectful as possible by refraining from going into any painful details. So with this in mind, one theory which has remained in the mix since the day of the disappearance is that Janiyah could have simply chosen to run away to escape her life at home, as some reports suggest that she may have been struggling with some personal issues. However, as the months have passed without any sign of her, this theory has become less likely over time, especially as the police have now issued a silver alert which is typically only used for endangered missing persons. Also, Janiyah's grandmother, Dalia Guerrero, believes that there is no chance that Janiyah simply ran away from home, as this would not have been typical behaviour of the teenage girl. But just before we write off this theory entirely, there have been some online discussions alleging neglect and abuse within the family household, with some posts suggesting that both Janiyah and her siblings may have experienced such conditions. However, these claims have not been substantiated by official sources, and while authorities have executed search warrants at Janiyah's home as part of their investigation, they have not publicly confirmed any findings related to household abuse. So rather than dwelling on a theory that has no confirmed substantial basis, what else could explain Janiyah's sudden and mysterious disappearance? Well, another theory is that Janiyah was lured away by someone she knew or had been communicating with online. Many missing children cases involve online predators or individuals who manipulate their victims into meeting in person. So, given the rising statistics of trafficking and exploitation cases in modern-day society, this remains a strong possibility. Janiyah left her home to go to a nearby store, but what happened next is a complete mystery. There were no confirmed sightings of her after she left, raising concerns that she may have been taken. If she had encountered someone she trusted, whether an acquaintance or someone she had been speaking with online, she may not have initially realised she was in danger. Additionally, weeks after her disappearance, authorities issued a silver alert, which is a significant detail that suggests law enforcement believe she was in immediate danger and had simply not run away. The delay in issuing the alert, however, may have allowed a potential abductor more time to cover their tracks, which would explain why a suspect still hasn't been arrested. But also, misinformation and conflicting stories about her case have further complicated the investigation, leading to wasted time and resources. But something I feel I have to point out is that if someone deliberately spread false information, this could indicate an effort to mislead the public and authorities, possibly even by the person responsible for Janiyah's disappearance. So if Janiyah didn't leave on her own accord, and no evidence suggests that she ever returned home, the key question that remains is, could she have unknowingly walked into a dangerous situation, or even worse, been deliberately targeted by someone she knew? Well, there has been speculation online about Janiyah McMichael's mother possibly being involved in her disappearance, but as of now there is no concrete evidence to support this claim. Online discussions have suggested that Janiyah may have been pregnant around the time of her disappearance, and that her mother was aware of who the father was. If true, this could have led to intervention from Child Protective Services, especially if there were already concerns about the household conditions. Allegations of neglect have surfaced, with some claiming that Janiyah and her siblings were living in unsuitable conditions. However, once again, law enforcement has not publicly confirmed any such findings, so for now this just remains speculation. Additionally, there are claims that a girlfriend of Janiyah's mother may have played a role in the situation. It is suggested that she may not have wanted the children around, particularly with the potential arrival of another baby. Some theorists believe this could have created tension within the household, leading to something far more sinister. However, while these theories have circulated widely online, there is no verified evidence that Janiyah's mother or anyone in her household was involved in her disappearance. Authorities have executed search warrants at her home, which indicates that they are considering all possibilities, but they have not publicly identified any suspects. So, while it's natural to question those closest to Janiyah, without clear proof, dwelling on unverified accusations may distract from the real search for answers. If her mother wasn't involved, then we must ask ourselves what really happened to Janiyah McMichael and why has she not been found? Well, the difficult reality is that after almost 8 months of searching, her family are still no closer to finding out the truth. So we have to do everything we can to help share her story with the world, as with enough support, I truly believe we can help bring this case to a close, and in doing so, provide some much needed closure to a family who have worked so hard for justice. Anyway, on that note, I think I'll leave this video here. But as always, if you have any other theories of your own which you think may help explain what really happened to Janiyah McMichael, please leave your ideas in the comments down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. But until next time, thank you so much for watching and make sure to subscribe to the channel for updates on these stories. Also, if you found this story interesting, feel free to check out the video on screen now, which covers the case of another teenage girl named Janiyah Harris, who mysteriously disappeared last year, never to be seen alive again.